It's NTT IndyCar Race Weekend, and you know what that means. When they race, we race first. It's time for some top split action in the 2024 IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gotson, and welcome to Race First coverage, sponsored by 4D Racewear, Round 5 of 2024. As of the 2024 championship, as today we come to you from my hometown and the world's greatest race course, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As always, joining me for expert analysis in the booth, he's my teammate and a regular participant in the IndyCar Fix Series, coming to us live from his remote studios of Mexico City, taking care of business before coming on the air. Please welcome El Patron Antonio Estrada. And also joining us back is our road course expert. He's a member of Satellite Racing, and he's an Indy 500 champion from the Major Series. Like I said, you've heard him before on GSRC and Apex TV, and he joins our IIS coverage for the season. Coming to us from Scotland, please welcome Ryan Walker. Fellas, I really don't have an opening question for you because I was kind of here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway virtually all night last night. So I'm in oval mode, but maybe you guys got a chance to check out the road course. Let's start with you, Ryan, because I think maybe you might have some intel from some drivers. What are we going to expect for today, as we got 5 minutes left here in qualifying, and your teammates sitting on the provisional pole?
Yeah, good to see that at the moment. But with regards to some race info or race strategy, if you like, race length is 85 laps. So as we're looking at the moment, it should be about 21 or 22 lap stints. with some very light fuel saving, but obviously there could be an outside possibility of maybe some drivers trying to stretch out that fuel, maybe trying to, from what I was told, trying to go to 29 laps. But I think if you do that, you'll lose too much time. So 21 or 22 lap stints is probably going to be the way to go. And obviously, yeah, big braking zones at the end of the straight. So don't be surprised if you see some people trying to pull off for some optimistic moves. But also beware of cold tyres, especially through turn 5 on the outlap, because as we
I don't know if we
also as well,
there you go.
be surprised if
Your audio just dropped out for a moment there. You might have said the most intelligent thing all day, and the audio dropped out.
Story of my life.
Mine too. Oh, we'll get back in the race strategy as the race proceeds. But Antonio, hey man, what's it like here being back in the month of May? You was your first trip to Indianapolis last year. Tell me, of course, I've done it many times, so it's different for me. But tell the person that's never been to Indianapolis, what is it like walking through that tunnel for the very first time and walking to the infield of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Oh man, it's crazy. But the thing is, you start walking because you have to park like quite far away from the speedway unless you have a parking ticket. And I didn't, so I parked like way from afar. It was like a 30 to 45-minute walk. And the thing is, you can see the speedway, like it's there, and you're walking and you're like, man, I'm not getting closer because that thing is so massive that eventually you get there, and then you still have to walk quite a bit to make it to your gate and then go inside. But yeah, once you go inside, like the atmosphere is eclectic all around this place. Like there is something magical about it. And you know, I was there for the 500. And that's so many people, and everyone is having a good time. And then looking at the infield, there are so many things that you can do. And it's I would say a magical experience. And if you haven't had the chance of making it to Indy, I would really, really highly recommend you to. It's a great looking track. And you actually have a great point of view from pretty much everywhere where you're sitting.
Yeah, you can't see the whole track from a single seat in the house unless you're kind of really special and you can go atop of the master control tower there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see the entire track, go to Martinsville, right? Like, just all over. But you're not going to be able to do that pretty much anywhere else. So, yeah, I mean, this is a great facility for watching the race live.
Well, as mentioned, we are 100% length, just like the pros will be tomorrow. 85 laps. It's a 2.44-mile road course. We're going to be doing about 207.5-ish miles for the race distance. Pit road speed limit is 40 miles per hour. We expect anywhere between 3 and 4 stops, depending on what strategies are going on out there. The race strength of field split here is a 45-32, a little bit lower than the one top split yesterday or Wednesday, but still a pretty massive one today. Still 58 seconds here left to play, watching Hildegard as he's trying to improve his time. 4D Racewear is the sponsor of our coverage today. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or the link in today's description. The IndyCar track records you need to know about at the INDY GP road course. Well, track record is held by, to nobody's surprise, Will Power with a time of 1:07.7044. So we're about 3 seconds off that pace here with these IR18s. Of course, that was set in 2017 with the DW12 and all that fancy aero kits that they had slapped to the side of them back in the day. Your all-time wins leaders here: Power with 5, Pagano with 3, Dixon with 2, Newgarden with 1, as well as VK, Herta, Rossi, and Palou. Each of those guys have 1. And we are getting ready to go racing now, as we are now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, getting ready to go official. And we'll get a starting lineup in for you. There we go. We got some new names here, so we're going to do our best to butcher them as always.
Yeah, let me do that. That's what I'm good at.
Go right ahead.
Alrighty. So, starting from the pole, a blistering fast lap time by Christian Hildgaard, your teammate Ryan. He did a 1:10.4, 4/10 faster than in second place, who is Gael Valero. He's somebody that we haven't really seen in these broadcasts, but he holds a pro license from iRacing, you know, that black license, which is a step above. And he has just 9,500 iRacing.
Just 95?
Please. Just 95. I mean,
Please.
Is Lauchen or something? But he's going to be joining Christian there on the front row, a 1:10.8 for him. In row 2, we find Robert Maleshka, RM3, with a 1:10.9, and he's going to be joined by Pascal Stiggs, 1:10.9 as well. I'm not sure if Pascal is still the leader of the IndyCar iRacing Series, but he was last time by, so, you know, the leader is there very, very close to the top. Row 3, we can find John Bettifer with 1:11 flat, and he's joined by Kevin Burrell, also from Satellite Racing, with a 1:11.1. In row 4, we have Hayato Matsuda, and he's joined by Sven Neumann. In row 5, starting 9th, we have Will Weiser, and he's joined by Sam Carsala. Starting 11th, we find Anders Sandberg, and he's joined by Blaise Hendrick. Starting 12th. Starting 13, we have Martin Filion, and he's joined by Patrick Zibasi. Starting 15, we have Alexei Shelovanov, joined by Amine Suisi. Suisi, that's a French name, so yeah, interesting. Starting 17th, we find Ollie McGowan. He's joined by Thomas Hins. Starting 18th. Starting 19th, we can find Mitchell Bott. He's joined by Lionel Massey. He's one of the guys that we saw last time we were racing at Long Beach, I think. Yeah, Long Beach. So good on the French squad. They're bringing back the numbers. He's going to be starting 20th. Starting 21st, we have Frank Nguyen, and he's joined by Philip Brecha. Starting 23rd, it's Martin Brandberg, and he's joined by Lars Morkut. Morkanut, actually. And then, starting 25th, we find Sylvain Moraine, another French, and I think teammate of Lionel Massey. And didn't set a time. Interesting. Philip Kraus is going to be starting 26th, the number 3 car. We know that Phil is super fast, and he actually won the last race on Monday. So keep an eye out for him. He's going to have his work cut out for him, because he's going to have to go through the entire field. But there are 85 laps for him to do so. So I'm going to keep my eye there, seeing what kind of moves he makes, and but also being very careful to not tear up his equipment doing so. And starting 27th and bringing the rear of the field, he didn't set a qualifying time. It's Palle Bay from Norway. So that's your 27th car starting lineup. And again, if I butchered anybody's name, I'm so sorry. Please let me know. So, I mean, last time by, or the race on Monday, Phil Kraus, or maybe it was the race yesterday, one of the earlier sessions, he won that by 20-something seconds. He actually beat Agustin Canapino, who was joining.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's cool. But he did a 3-stop strategy. He went into the pits around lap 23, 24, so he did a little bit of saving, not extreme saving to make it to lap 29 or something. So I would imagine that the 3-stop is probably going to be the way to go, but we'll see, and we'll find out as we're getting ready to go.
We got the long pace lap, so we got plenty of time here. We do have the points up for the series. Phil Kraus is your leader with 1379. P2 is Kevin Burrell with a 1212, and Alex Van de Sant, who's not in today's lineup, with 1,039 points. Roseborough, Sticks, Betafure, Weiser, Malechka, Hildgaard, Matsuda are your top 10. Marquez, Lodato, Harrington, Berteau, and Hizda, hopefully I'm saying that right, is your top 15 in the series. And that is your points. Still much up in the air. Of course, we're only round 5, and we still have the big Indy 500, or it's going to be 500K to go. Let's get the points off here. Let's get ready to go racing.
Face cars in, and they're gone. Good launch by Hildgaard.
Wow, great launch. Yeah, he did. We're going to watch all these guys pile down into turn one. And this is where we're going to have to be mindful of where these wrecks occur now.
Almost 3 wide. John Bedford thought better of it, but still was able to make it work, make it stick. He's still 6.
Oh, wow. Everyone made it through turn one.
Yeah, and that's a corner I thought there was going to be loads of mayhem because of just cold tires and also just the pack being so bunched up. But good to see everyone was sensible and left each other.
We got we got a little bit of action in the back there. Savazzi went wide, coming onto the Holman Straight, but he's back at it. Not seeing anybody. This is great job by everybody. I'm really impressed by this first lap. Everyone is keep minding their P's and Q's for the most part, keeping all 4 wheels on the tarmac and really not doing a lot of bumping and pushing out there, just getting into their spots and now starting to pick up their pace.
Yeah, there is a small incident between, Suisi.
Yeah, he's missing a front wing, so let's see what he decides to do. Yeah, I'm just going to cut across the grass and go to pit road for the new wing. Now, he can actually fulfill the changing of the compounds if he wants to at this point. He's still going to have to make extra stops, but he could at least get rid of those reds. Meanwhile, up front, Hilgard.
I'm showing Hilgard in 27th, actually. I'm not sure. I hope that's something wrong with my...
Yeah, I'm sure. Hilgard is the leader. We got him on the video right now, followed by Gail Valero, who I believe is he part of that Apex? Yeah, that SDK Gaming Apex squad. That's Brandon, Super Chief Brandon Treno's team.
Yeah, Guy Valero's he's been around on the iRacing for quite some time, and he's also been with the Apex Racing team for quite some time as well. And I've watched him in some other series, and he's always a quick driver. So he could be one of those underdogs to watch in this race.
Yeah, everybody on that team is really, really quick.
I would not call him an underdog.
Or maybe not an underdog.
9,500 iRating.
No, but basically one of those names that he could spring a surprise is maybe what I should have said.
No, you're right. I'm just joking.
Well, I will say this: I know those guys are really busy with other. They work for other sim companies. Whether making setups or whatever, they might also race in other cars. This might not be their primary car. And we've talked about this on other broadcasts. When you get out of these cars and you step back in them for the first time and you're not constantly in them, such as a Pascal Stix or a Christian Hildegard or even a Robert Moleshka. We know Robert Moleshka has a cot. He lives in his car, right? So... these guys we tend to see always compete very well with the ringers, and let's call Guile, a ringer with a 9,000 K iRating. They can keep up with these guys because they're more used to the car than the person that just jumps in for the every now and then a race.
Yeah, for sure. And don't look now, but Phil Krause, he's already up to 17, so that's 9 spots already up for him. And now he's hounding Philip Brecha there for P16.
Now we're watching him. And just to introduce the areas to the inside, he is clear of that. And he's into turn 1, into the infield portion. Turn 4 infield used to be... when they removed the snake pit from turn 1, it relocated down to turn 4. And there is a very young and impressionable Gary that sat in the turn 4 bleachers for the 1988 qualifications, first day of qualification for the Indy 500, and got to witness a full-on riot down there with mounted police and everybody finally getting involved.
Wow.
The good old snake pit. Now, the snake pit you hear about now, which is that big rave party in turn 3, that's nothing. Here's Phil Krause looking at Ollie McGowan. Going to the outside into the turn 1 complex here. Not going to have it, but it'll probably set him up for the main straightaway. You mentioned Krause up 10 spots. You're either other big gainers, Philip Brechka up 5. Monenka, hopefully you said that, Lars, right there. Monenka, he is up 6, and Brandborg, up 4. A lot of new names that we get to butcher for this race, so apologies in advance.
Yep, Phil Kraus managed to get by McGowan into turn 1, so Kraus up into 15th place now.
And he is next on his list is 4-alarm Blaze Andrich. So he asked me, he goes, what do you mean by 4-alarm Blaze Andrich? And he wasn't sure what I was saying. So a 4-alarm blaze is a big fire that 4 fire departments are being called to. 4 alarms. So that means you're hot. So yeah, I figured of a hot driver, and he's like, I wasn't sure if it means I'm hot, like is it dumpster fire or anything. I'm like, no. I would not call you dumpster fire Blaze Andrich, but I will call you 4-alarm Blaze Andrich. He first was telling me, I don't know, there must be something that, maybe my age, I'm not getting the joke. And I'm like, I didn't know that 4-alarm blazes was an age thing.
There was just a pass. Jim Bedford went by RM3, and now Matsuda wanted to go by as well.
What is Burrell Burrell is driving a Bucky-sponsored IndyCar. Oh, that is awesome, Burrell. But Burrell around Beta Fuhrer, or he's in front of Beta Fuhrer. Malechka back to 6. Malechka had a long night last night, so he competed in the ERL's Indy 500. Almost won. You want to know what the margin of victory was, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
He lost. He was second place, so that's losing to him by 0.004 seconds.
Wow.
Oh no.
That's what they call heartbreaking.
And he was he did a bit of a different strategy on everybody. I don't know about you guys, but when I race in these cars and I get around these high echelon drivers, I kind of push myself harder, right? And so I give them less breaks. I want to race with them. I'm not going to pull over for them. And I'm thinking that's what he gets a lot when he races people now, especially in some of these other series out of official racing. So what he did is he fell back in the field and immediately went to conservation. So he started on the front row, and by the time the first pit stops came around, he was back in 15th, 20th, somewhere in there. And then he was able to extend his first stint 36 laps. That's at Indianapolis, 36 laps at Indianapolis. That is huge.
Yeah, typically, whenever I'm saving, it's like 34.
Right, exactly.
36 is a lot.
And then in the second stint, he went 35.
Wow.
And so while he's doing that, then where he's passing people is he's passing them when they're on pit road. So you're not racing everybody harder, you're racing everybody smarter. So with the big IQ, Malechka starts from the front row, goes to the back, comes back up to the front, and when it's time for the money, he's all set to go, and he's up front, all fresh and pretty, while everyone else has spent half the day trying to fight their way to the front.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with the Indy 500s as well. But even if you end up falling back, people obviously jump to the conclusion saying, "Oh, he's got a problem," or "He's not comfortable with the car." But sometimes I forget it. It could be a team and a driver that's sticking to a strategy of maybe trying to fuel save, but maybe within the first half of the race, fuel save in the first half, and then basically when it gets to the last half, maybe the last 100 laps or so, that's when it's time to go.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. He started falling back, and some of the other commentators I think Malechka's having problems, and there was a possibility. We don't catch every angle, so it's possible he would have hit the wall, and then we didn't know it, and maybe he had some damage. But I said very early on, I was like, I don't know. I think this is on purpose, and I tell you what, this man has made me look more smarter than not by just thinking like him, or at least guessing what he's thinking correctly. And he made me look like an expert last night. So once again, many thanks to Robert Malechka for making my IQ high. What do we got? Oh, there it is right there with Shebanov. As we see him rejoining, he's right there, right next to Blaze Andrich. Phil Kraus almost was involved in that.
He actually hip checked him. Yeah, there was a dogfight between Sandberg, Karasala, Shalovanov, and Kraus, and then Kraus took it a little too hot and just hip-checked Shalovanov. I don't think they have any damage, so they're going to be able to continue, both of them, no problem at all. But, yeah.
Yeah, we'll watch this real quick while we got some time. We're about 10 laps away from maybe the earliest pit stops occurring. So we see inside. That was one of the intel calls that, and Shevchenov's front wing flew, at least the right front plane flew off into the infield grass. So he's going to have to stop. But you were talking about the driver intel, Ryan, is that right there in that last sector, throwing it into that last turn before going into the turn one infield. Drivers were going to attempt to maybe do a full send there, and that's maybe what we saw there a little bit by Phil Kraus as we are now back to live broadcasting.
Yeah, that was a bit... I don't know if I would say that was maybe a little bit naughty from Kraus or a bit forceful, but yeah, I can understand he wants to get through the field as quickly as possible if he's on a planned strategy, but... Yeah, I think if I was him, I would have waited until the home straight to try and make a move.
Yeah.
Of course, he probably has a bit of a stopwatch in his mind, in his head there that's running, and it's like, if I give up more time, it's going to hurt my strategy. So I kind of see what's going on. We got some battle. Okay, Shevchenov on pit road to get that wing repaired. It's about 10 laps early for him to be making the first stop, but at least he can make the change from the red tires. We are back to red tires. No Iuli tires this time. We're back to the red tires, and he could get off those tires and go on to primes for the remainder of the race if he chooses to do so. Hildegard, your leader, experiencing lap traffic now with Thomas Hines.
Yeah, and there's a battle there for third with Birel, Stix, Bedefer, and Maleshka. They're all together. They haven't been able to separate each other. They have very, very similar pace, and they're lapping pretty much the exact same lap times each and every lap. Although Bedefer gets a good run here, he might be able to send it on Stix entering turn one. He's getting closer, pulls out, and they're side by side. There we go. Yep, very clean move.
And now Stix. Very similar paint job to Malechka's, actually, from afar. If you enjoy Race First coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash the like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First iRacing broadcasts. And we got some big ones. We're going to be bringing a lot to you from Indianapolis, not just the leagues that we cover, but we will be bringing you one of the open Indy 500s in addition to a fixed Indy 500. And so this year, for the community of the 8 slots that iRacing gave us, and they gave us some pretty bad times. They gave us some really bad times. But of the 8 slots and the 8 top split races at Indianapolis, will be 4 for open, 4 for fixed. 4 of them will be broadcast. So for the first time, half of the IndyCar top split broadcasts will be broadcast, or top split races will be broadcasted, whether it be from other providers or by us. So we're bringing you 2 this season, or this coming IndyCar or special event season for the Indy 500. Nevertheless, Bodenfear up the 4th, Pascal 6th and 5th, Robert Malechka 6th, Teo Matsuda. He is right where he started in 7th. Sven Newman, he is a teammate there to Stix. He is currently 8th. Will Weiser in 9th. A lot of the guys in the bottom portion of the top 10 are kind of right where they started, which is actually not bad considering the number of cars in this split and how things terribly could have gone wrong throwing it down into turn 1, as we mentioned in the pre-race intelligence. But look at that car behind Sam Karsala in 10th. Kraus up 15 spots. Up to 11th. The alien is on the march.
Yeah, and whenever he has some clean air like he has right now, then he's setting up banger of laps. I mean, everybody is in the 113 bracket. Whenever he has a little bit of clean air, he's in the super low 113s or even dipping in the 112s. So, yeah, he's coming. He's going to be at the top whenever... once we're getting into the closing stages, but maybe even by the second stint, he's going to be fighting for the lead, I think.
So, guys, you want to hear something sick about this, about all this stuff he's doing right here? He hasn't used a single push to pass.
Well, yeah, of course. Why would you?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I was thinking, I forgot to mention that at the start of the show, they're using the push to pass in the early stage of the race. It might not be a bad thing to save them, because obviously, if Kraus is maybe on a... It doesn't look like it, but if he is on a fuel save run trying to extend the distance as long as possible, but this might not be a bad idea to save the push to passes and maybe start using them a bit more in the later stages of the race.
A new stat here we have on the tree off to the left tells you the compound that everyone is on. As we see Valero there in P2, he is on the alternates. There are the Reds. He's the only one in the top 10 on the Reds, and he's losing ground to Hilgard, who is on the prime and coming in now to challenge Valero is Burrell, as he is now closing that gap. There's a lap car in between those two. That's Thomas Hines again, but everybody in the top 10, with the exception of the 9K Wizard. He is on the alternate. Everyone else is on the primes. Fastest lap, well, that's the purple 1 next to Hilgard's name there. He has the fastest lap. That is a 1:12.664. We probably see that reset maybe once or twice more in this race as new tires get put on. Maybe lighter tanks in the end. Maybe someone does one of the Red Bull dashes that we see in Formula One. Doesn't get you any points here. That's the thing, though. But, it gets you an old slap on the back. You get to the Marco Andretti Award, and you went fast for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, no. The Marco Andretti.
I'm sorry, Marco.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't let Marco hear you say that. He'll come after you.
Yeah.
Burrell is getting closer and closer to Valero there for P2.
And we'll bring up the interval to that battle. 2.5 right now. Hildegard has a 3.5 second now over the Valero and pulling away.
Burrell's getting closer, but Bediver is getting closer to him.
Yeah.
So he probably is not going to be able to, focus that much on catching. But right now he's going to have to defend a little bit because Bediver has been a little faster the last couple of laps.
Again, thanks for joining us, and got a big week coming up. Of course, starts Sunday where we have a doubleheader. The VOR IRO5 series at 2 p.m. at Fontana, the Dark Horse DW12 series at Motegi. Then Monday, we will be back with the ISRA guys, and of course, Mike Rigney's here in chat with us. He says, "What's up?" We say, "What's up?" And we'll be doing we are now on I'm going to jinx it right here. I've broadcasted 5 consecutive NASCAR races for the ISRA guys, and these are all ex-Lionheart. Majority of them are ex-Lionheart drivers. We've had 5 consecutive NASCAR races without a caution.
Oh, you jinxed it.
Yeah, it's totally jinxed now. But we're going to Richmond, so that's it's surely a place where you expect the cautions to come out. But the last time we went to a similar track, which was Iowa, they also went caution-free. So the aces of Lionheart not doing IndyCar this year, kind of taking a sabbatical, but they're all kind of lined up in the ISRA right now and trying some different formulas. Right now, they're doing Xfinity, and they seem to be good drivers no matter what they are driving. And then on Tuesday, it's our signature broadcast of the IndyCar Top Split, or the Oval Series Top Split, as we will visit the proper Phoenix Speedway. Legacy Phoenix Speedway Raceway, yeah.
Good Phoenix.
The good Phoenix. And this open dogleg bull and turning turn 3 into turn 1, and oh God, NASCAR, what'd you do? What did you do? Oh, we got a bit of a snake going down the front stretch as Valero is trying to protect that position and not allow Burrell really to sneak in. But I think it's not necessarily his speed on the straights. Really, it's just the tires are going away on the infield portion.
Yeah, I was about to say that last time by, Burrell was 5 tenths quicker. The lap before as well, another 5 tenths. So yeah, I think at this point those tires are spent, and now we also know a little bit of how much they're gonna degrade. So it seems like it was around lap 16 when they gave up. So we gotta keep that in mind because everybody has to go to them except for Valero. Filion is also on the alternates, and
Yep,
that's
we're
it.
watching,
Everybody else.
we're watching Filion right now. Anders Sandberg and the team watching racing set up to Lara, got around him for 13th spot, and yeah, I just saw that happen, so I wanted to get him on the tube here. Plus, he is one of the few on the primary or the alternate tire.
Yep. And now Burrell is on the button. He's trying to make quick work of this and get a little bit of clean track. He's going to be able to make it, I think.
He's on the outside though, which is a bit of a dangerous place to be in turn one. But
I think Valero let him go.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like Galileo just lifted and let him go and tucked him behind. So not always a bad thing. It's in the early stage of the race, and I think I have to agree. I think Galileo's maybe just struggling with tires, and the tires have just started to drop off.
Here comes Bettifer now. It's a great run.
Yeah, Valero
With a bit of a
could have
defensive
defended
line
to the
there.
inside. Yep, exactly.
Like he knows that if he lets Bettifer by, he's going to drop all the way to 7th probably, because we have Styx, we have Maleska, we have Matsuda. So a lot of guys right behind him. So
we'll see him send it into this corner, this braking zone right here. Does he send it? No. That's where kind of Kraus sent it. Well, that incident we saw a little bit early on. I think he's going to get him on the main straight. He's probably going to have to use push to pass to do it. We'll see. He still has all 10 pushes of the button. So let's ride with... He's on the button there. He's got the green lights on his dash blinking, and his Pi readout, his LCD screen there, has the green border, and he gets the pass done, clipping that inside curb. And now move John to the bottom step of the podium, P3. We are now really looking at the window opening for pit stops, as we are right at that point. Man, they are popping that curb right in that chicane area.
Yeah, I would worry about damaging the car somehow, but these guys are completely pros and know exactly how much they can take. And although it seems that it unsettles the car a little bit, it doesn't seem to translate to them in any way. As Pascal Styx is now getting super close to Gael Valero. And
he's got a great run. He's got a great run.
Yep, and he's going to get him. Yeah, Valero just kind of breaks a little early. Styx gets the position, move him up to 4th now. And you're right. Once Valero got past, you called it. He was going to start falling. And he might want to take this opportunity now to get this first stop, as we are now in the window. The window is open. We expect 21 laps, maybe 22. And we see Styx rotors lighting up as he breaks it from nearly 200 miles per hour down to, I don't know what they're turning going into 1 anymore, 20, 30 miles an hour, maybe more than that.
Yeah, quite slow.
And then
I was going to...
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to ask, if you're any of these guys stuck further back and you're stuck in the pack, is it maybe worth pitting early and maybe trying to just try and get some clear track and taking some quick lap, maybe try and gain some positions through the pit stops?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thinking. I would say that's a viable strategy. Soon as their window opens, each driver might have an individual window. We figure right around 20, 21, 22 is when the windows would open, depending on how much you smack the button, how much you're saving fuel. And when I say smack the button, push to pass. Those that aren't familiar with push to pass, if you're watching IndyCar racing, it's like, hey, I want to check it out. I just happened to see this on the algorithm. It popped up and gave me a suggestion. First of all, welcome. A push to pass is a momentary horsepower boost that these cars get when the drivers smack a button or push a button or whatever on their wheel. It's going to be a button. Although on my one of my wheels, I actually have multiple paddle shifters, and I actually have it set up for one of the paddle shifters.
Oh,
It's
Okay.
there when you need it.
I use a button.
But how often do you see me on road courses? Not very often. So
That is true.
don't worry about my ergonomics. But it's a momentary horsepower boost. It lasts about 20 seconds. They have 10 pushes of that button throughout the race. They can use it to push or defend. And there is no Penske cheating going on with the push to pass here in the IndyCar iRacing series.
Did you really just go there?
I did. And here comes Valero to
There's
pit
Valero
road.
finally.
Here goes the pit road.
Yeah, and he was using the push to pass button to defend last time by from RN3. So yeah, he was bleeding time. He needed to come in.
Yeah, that's a scheduled stop, and we have another on pit road. Not sure. Is that Karsala? No. Trying to find out who's on. Will Weiser. There it is. Will Weiser.
Sven Neumann went by Hayato Matsuda. He seemed to have an issue somewhere, and so now Hayato is back to 7th. Sven Neumann is up to 6th, and Phil Kraus, he's up 18 places. He's currently running 8th.
So despite the Penske Gate thing going on, I mean, Joseph Newgarden's still my guy. He's still my guy. I mean, I named my dog after him, so he's still my guy. So I'm going to root for what I want him to do. I absolutely want him to do, and he'll never do this because he's too much of a nice guy. But I think he's going to get booed a lot because of what's going on, and I think he should embrace the boo. I'm a big wrestling fan, so I think he should turn heel. So, and when I say turn heel, is turn the bad guy. So when he wins, and here got some more guys, we got Newman and Hayato Matsuda coming to pit road.
And Burrell as well.
And Burrell. And staying on the racetrack is Hilgard. So he is going long for Hilgard. We've got some cars coming off of pit road. So what I want him to do is I want him to win the 500, go back to back, grab the microphone from the victory lane announcer there, and just look at the camera, take a sip of the milk, and say, just like Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. That's what I want to see. I'm not going to see it. I wish I could script IndyCar racing like wrestling, but no. But I know that they're going to catch a lot of boos, and he's going to be the brunt of it. And that interview he had to try to explain everything really didn't help. And the more that you learn about the situation, the more it just seems everything's just a little sus.
Yeah, it's so weird. And whenever they keep talking about it, it's like, man, just stop digging. Let's move on.
Here comes Hilgard.
Your thing.
Well, on the other heels of the paddock right now is, of course, McLaren cutting loose Malukas. And I don't know about you guys. I think you probably echo how I feel. I feel gutted for Malukas. Because he literally looked like he had his dream ride and everything that he's ever worked and dreamt of right there at his fingertips, not even to be given a chance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've always been a big fan of Malukas since he drove for was it Dale Coyne or AJ Foyt racing?
Coyne.
When he had that terrific run at, was it Gateway? I think when he came close to
Gateway.
Yeah.
When he came close to winning, and I think the way that McLaren's done that, let him go, I think it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And instead of letting him go, I think they should have stuck by him, because Malukas was one of those I was really impressed by. Not just his driving talent, but his work ethic, and behind the scenes and helping the team out. Just simple stuff like cleaning the car and just showing that he's a team player.
Yeah.
So
I mean, on the other hand, it's also a business, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and no one likes it. When someone has to say it's just business, that's normally when you're trying to tell everyone else that doesn't like what you just did that it's just business. That's normally just the excuse you hear.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I agree, and I'm gutted for him, and I think he's a great guy and a great talent. But at the end of the day, they have to kind of keep going, and they don't even know how long it's going to take for him to get back in the car. So, yeah, a tough decision no matter what.
Watching Patrick Salvazzi hitting pit road, he had led a lap there while the pit stops overlapped. Of course, he runs in the VOR series that we cover, and we all also commentate on. And he currently is coming to pit road. He's coming to 24 laps. But now the lead is turned back over to Hilgard. Go right ahead, Ryan.
No, I was just going to say what we were talking about Malukas, and I think the thing that annoys me with some fans, just the way they were saying, you shouldn't be going out on a bike during the off season, and I just think it's a snobbish comment to make. I mean, drivers during the off season should be given freedom to do what they want.
Well, I mean, maybe his dad should own a team then. Lance Stroll.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And I will say this. I mean, I know F1 fans might beg to differ, but I will gladly put up Malukas against Lance Stroll in a road course race and throw money down on Malukas.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Anybody. Like, I could even, well, I'm going to be a little extreme here, but you could even place a Stingray Rob there, and they're going to have a shot. I mean, I don't know who was going to win, but...
That's massive shots fired, but I love it.
I was going to say, I mean, Lance Stroll, someone from Canada will probably come to my house and grab me by the neck, but I think he's a Canadian version of Pastor Maldonado.
It seems like today we chose to be we chose violence here.
Everyone's a little saucy. Gary didn't get much sleep. Had to yank Antonio out of a meeting. This is the last thing we do that Ryan does all day before he goes to bed. Everyone's just at a wrong time. But Bittenfier, that time by setting the purple lap, and he's all over the back end of Burrell. 112.4.
Yeah, there are three very, very close battles happening right now. Burrell and Bittenfier, Valero and Styx, and Matsuda and Phil Krause there. So, yeah. Also, Andrick and Carousel are very, very close to each other. But they're saving their push to pass. Nobody's blinking. Nobody's using them. And, they're right. At this point in the race, it's still super early. It's the second stint. We're going to have at least 4 stints. So, and while I say it, Bittenfier on the bottom and Styx on the bottom as well.
Yeah, so it's like John's going to make a move into turn 1, and will Burrell fight it? Burrell lifts off early.
And there we go. Bittenfier to second. Styx to fourth.
I remember John won the race at Barber last time that you saw us on IIS action here on iRacing. Next race after this, May 25th. Ironically, it is the Indianapolis 500, but it is not the 500 miles. They decided, the community managers and the community decided that every race for the IIS will be 100%, except Indianapolis. And the reason because of that, there's so many other IndyCar leagues and official races coming up that are going to full 500-mile distance that they give everyone a break here, and they're going to only 500K at Indianapolis. So that will be coming up here on the 25th of May, 2 p.m. Eastern. On that Saturday, we will do 500K here on the Oval. Will be our next race.
I think that's a great move, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, you keep them special. Like, that's why we have that special event of the Indy 500, and that's the Indy 500. So to water it down by having multiple instances of them through the year, I think it makes a lot of sense to just do 500K.
Yeah, I wish they would make a hashtag for like the Indy 500 for the month of May, something like winners drink milk.
Now, when winners drink orange juice, it doesn't really bode well for the rest of their career.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
just ask Emerson Fittipaldi.
Nothing after that race. He did nothing. His career went downhill because in the next year, remember, he was leading in the Beast, And he had had a lap lead on the field, and he smacked the turn 4 wall. And then after that, I don't think Emma won anything else. Maybe one more race. I don't have to go back and look. And then in '96, he had that basically that career-ending wreck at Michigan, and that was it. That career done. 3 years after winning the 500 for a second win.
I remember that. I think that's when he was driving for was it Penske Hogan Racing? I think?
Yeah, he was in that all red car. Yeah,
very cool car, by the way.
Kraus and Hayata Matsuda. Kraus the position. Kraus up to 7th now.
Man, that's 19 spots.
I know. He is the alien. I don't know what alien nickname can you possibly give the guy that maybe calling him the alien, Mr. Spock. I don't know. Think about that.
But yeah, now he's gonna be charging. He's gonna have clear track in front of him, and he has a ways to go. 3.5 seconds to RM3 there in P6, but again. RM3 has a little bit of turbulence there. He's running behind Valero. Valero, same thing, running behind Sticks. So he's going to be able to close that gap a tiny bit. And just right now it's down to 3.1. So 3/10 while we were just discussing it. So yeah, Phil Krause is coming.
And if you're just joining us as a Race First coverage, just sponsored by 4D Race Bear, Round 5, a special Friday edition of the top split of the IndyCar iRacing Series coming to you from the road course in Indianapolis, where we completed 30 of 85 scheduled laps. You're enjoying the Race First coverage of today's race and like to monetarily support your commentary team. Make sure you donate via our GoFundMe link in the description. We realize times are tough, but we appreciate any donation that you can give.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Let's do a reset of the field as we are coming not too far away from really the next stops, about the next 10, 11 laps. Hildegard is your leader by 5 seconds over John Betafier. Betafier is eating into that lead a little bit.
He's the only one.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are only 2 drivers right now in the 112 bracket. That's Betafier and Phil Krause. Everybody else, 113 something. So yeah, Betafier's coming.
Yeah, and Betafier was actually faster that lap, and over the last 5 laps, he's a 10th faster over the last 5. So he is coming slowly, but getting there. Kevin Burrell in the Bucky's entry. He is in 3rd. He is clear by a second back to Pascal Sticks right there. Again, the best name in all of sim racing. And then the Valero, the 9K Wizard back there in 5th, hanging tough. But he has the IndyCar master, the Predator himself, RM3, right on his tail.
And we typically are like, RM3 is great in ovals, but seeing him also doing such a great job in road courses, it's like, man, he's just an IndyCar great overall. And we typically don't point to his road course prowess, but he's no slouch at all.
Well, and normally a battle between a 9.5K guy and a 4.6K guy, you would say, oh, big time advantage. The 9K guy, he's got this.
Right.
No. Not at least not in Indy cars, and not to the degree that Malechka runs in. Man, he just ate him up in the braking zone of turn 1. Malechka's reeling this battle in right here. But Malechka is 6. Kraus is, of course, Kraus and Malechka, even though on other teams, they do work together in audio channels. So I would not be surprised if they are in the same audio channel talking right now. But Kraus is 2 seconds behind, or actually almost 3 seconds behind Malechka. Matsuda right there in the Scotty D livery. Or Scotty D, last time we saw a race on the Indy GP road course. He won. And he's trying to repeat that, but he's got a little ways to go back in 8th. He's a 9th ranked car. in this split. Actually, he's the 15th, right? Excuse me. But anyways, Matsuda is up to 8th. Sven Newman in 9th in that second core entry. So we got core guys in 4th and 9th. And Will Weiser, very quietly, there in that former Ganassi livery, cruising up to the top 10. And then I would be remiss if I can't mention four-alarm Blaze Andrich. He's P11. Doing pretty hot, okay? Doing pretty hot. Your biggest gainers, of course, well, no one's really going to top Phil Krause up 19 spots. Your other big gainer is Lars Monica. I hope I'm saying that right there in that red, white, and blue. You know what that paint job looks like? It looks like one of those old rocket popsicle things that we had. I don't know if you had them in Mexico, but they were popsicles that were shaped like a rocket. They were red, white, and blue. And I remember having them as kids, and that's what the colors of that car reminds me of. But Lars up to 15th, up 9 spots. I like the livery. Also some big gainers. Sylvian Moraine right there in that looks like a little bit of deep navy blue, fluorescent green and white car. He is up 4 spots, and Pally Bay starting shotgun on the field there, and kind of looks like a little bit of a Toyota type livery back from the 80s. He is in 5th. Those are big movers. Everybody's on the lead lap all the way up to 22nd here with Pally Bay. Shelbanov is 1 lap down, still running. Thomas Hines 4 laps down, still running. And Anmine Susi, one of the French drivers there. I believe so. Yeah, there he goes from France in that Aero McLaren car. He is 5 laps down, but still running in 25th. Not a lot of attrition going on right now.
Yeah, the only one that I'm sure is out is Philip Brecha, who I was actually looking at. He was the first one to come into the pits at lap 16, and I was like, okay, that's a little bit early. I was watching him closely, but once he got to his pit stall, he disconnected. So he probably had something to attend to. So we'll call it a mechanical, but he's out of the race.
Jason Brophy in chat. He says Indy race length was dictated by iRacing. Okay, all right. Yeah, I was told by a certain community manager that they were doing a 5, and I thought it was more of a community decision, but I didn't know iRacing had more of a say in that. Hildegard coming to the 6 here of Pally Bay. Try to put Pally Bay a lap down. Jason Brophy last night finished 3rd in that Indy 500 for the ERL. I forget the margin of victory or margin of to the leader for him, but it was a tenth, maybe a tenth of a second. So the top 3 were separated by a tenth of a second, at least. I have to go back and look. They said no 500-mile race. The community set the official distance. All right, right on. And we got
it still makes sense, you know.
Yeah,
I think it was.
It makes sense. Yeah, good decision.
Yeah, regardless. Yep.
Oh, Brophy, he knows what he lost by 0.027. So the margin of victory for Brophy 0.027, and that's 3rd place.
Okay, but hold on. Who won the race? Because I know now that RM3 came on 2nd and Brophy came 3rd. Who actually won it?
Former Team Race First driver Caleb Bency.
Ah, cool.
And he was carrying the Race First sponsorship on the rear cowling, so I'll take it. And also got in chat, they said they're rooting for P14 and 17. Hopefully they haven't changed yet, but that's Frank Wynn in 17th and Ollie McGowan in 14th. But if they change, let me know, and we'll get them back on camera for you. And we have Let's Go Christian, his teammate, in there cheering on.
Yep, that's I believe that's Adam Crane.
That's Adam, yeah. Former champion of this series.
My team boss, so I better watch what I say. Otherwise, he'll take my paycheck away.
You guys get paid?
I've been doing something wrong then. In
36
the
of
meantime,
86.
I'm watching Sam Carasala. He just ate up a lot of distance with Blaise Hendrick, and now he's there.
We are on it.
Him.
We are on it.
And I think it also has to do with that same thing that we saw with Valero in the first team. Hendrick, is in the alternate tires, so now I think we're coming to that point where they're not that good.
This is going to be about. He's on push to pass. Andrews takes the inside defensive line, but I think Sam's going to have just too much pace on the outside, coming down the turn one, big time braking zone, turning in, getting the position, moves Sammy up to 11th.
Yeah, and the good thing for Hendrick here is now there is a 18-second gap from between him and Sandberg. So even if these tires are no longer up to speed, he's not in any immediate danger. But again, we still need pretty much everybody to use those red tires. I imagine that they were gonna try and extend, all their stops as much as they can. So many of them were able to make it all the way to lap 24. A couple of them, most of the field, 22. I imagine that we're gonna see them on 44 and then probably 66, and try and make it a shorter stint on the Reds. But they're probably gonna keep them for the last one.
And there are the tire situations for everybody on the tree. Purple lap still belongs to John there in P2. 38 of 85. Let's take a tour of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. We will hop on with our leader. Currently he's in the turn 2 portion of the road course. Right to the left there, that is the Riley Children's Hospital Suites. Former suites of the old hotel that used to be there. The whole hotel is now the pro shop and the clubhouse for the golf course. Into the old turn 1 portion. This is where the old snake pit used to be back in the day. Coming on to the main straight. Of course, the Formula 1 course used all of turn 1. And for the longest time, that's all we had on iRacing until they rescanned the GP course here. Down the main straight, heading toward turn 4 into turn 1. Here is the turn 4. This is, like I said, location number 2 for the snake pit before they finally moved it off and really defanged the whole thing. Right there, that scoring pylon, that scoring tower has been torn down on both ends of the speedway. It's no longer there anymore. This is Holman Boulevard. This is the road that runs directly down the middle of the track. It used to just be an access road for fans, drivers, for cars, bringing their cars into the inside of the track. So it was just an access road, and then they kind of widened it and made it part of the road course. Now they're back into the turn 3 portion, or turn 2 portion. And back up into the south split. This is the south short chute, going over the main entrance. Off to the right there is the Hall of Fame Museum. That actually is closed right now as they're renovating it. And the Hall of Fame Museum has been there, and it's typically open year-round, every day. And it has been there since, I think it's about 50 years. I think they opened it right about 74, right when I was born. Sorry,
I was able to meet Pajan out there. It was very cool. We got to chat a little bit, took a picture. Very nice guy, right outside the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's still a cool museum, but when you walked in there, you could definitely feel it was pretty dated. And it's going to turn into a multimedia fan experience museum here when they reopen it in 2025. And this should be very, very exciting to see this new museum. Although Penske has his own wing in the museum, and I think it's a little self-serving. But when you win as many 500s as you do, and I think you won a 400 here, and then when you buy the company, I guess you could do a little bit more with it than the average person. But there is a Penske wing. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. RM3 got super squirrely. Almost lost it in front of Field
Oh, wow. We have a ton of traffic. Ton of traffic here.
Yeah, they have caught up with Sylvain Moraine. And, but they are able to all
get
make
around
it through.
Moraine. Moraine's a lap down, but all of the leaders. So this is Styx, Valero, Molechka, Kraus, all in the same picture right there, coming down the main straight. This is a battle for position. We got to it in time. We didn't miss anything.
No.
Telling people about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I forget what year
Man,
it was.
I think
Go ahead.
it was, what, like 10, 12 laps ago where we mentioned that Phil Krause was like 3.5 seconds behind this group. Well, now he's right with them. And also, when we were talking about John Bettifer, he was like 5.5 seconds behind Hildegard. And now he's, he's still not there, but it's down to 3.94 seconds. So he's consistently faster, even if it's just a tiny bit. But we're potentially going to have a race in our hands in a couple of laps.
Well, if 21 is the minimum number that everyone's been telling us, although it looks like really in timing and scoring, 22 is the magic number. We are now about 2 laps away from equaling that number. Go ahead, Kraus.
Kraus is probably going to send it over Molechka here. Ooh, he wasn't that close.
Yeah, I think Kraus's next opportunity is probably on the exit of the chicane if he can get a good run and get close to the car in front of him. But yeah, Kraus is not hanging around, and he's done a good job to get into the top 10. So it wouldn't surprise me if he even gets onto the podium possibly.
Man, these are the power teams at the front of the grid. Styx is with that Core squad. Now, Core does a lot of other official races. They're not dedicated to IndyCar, although I think these guys, if they were to dedicate a bit of a full-time effort to IndyCar, they would probably, I would think, go much, much better. Not to saying that being back and forth is really bad, but like I said, the more that you put into these cars, the more you get out of them. Valero, of course, with that SDK Gaming Apex squad there, we know them to be one of the true super teams, led by Super Chief Brandon Trano, who does a lot of the setups for the IndyCar Oval Series. And, of course, Power Slide, Robert Molechka, one of his teammates, along with Adam Blocker and Alex Vandesan, who's third in the standings for the series right now. And then private label Team Hype, we know them to be one of the power teams as well. Brophy, Kraus,
Connor Harrington.
We got is Chin on that team? I think Chin is on a team. Could be wrong. It's been a while since we've seen some of these guys in actually some of our broadcasts, so it's tough to tell. Been hearing rumors about some of the super teams possibly bringing on some new drivers. Don't know if that's true or not.
Wonder who. That's interesting.
And up in the front, one of the super teams, Satellite Racing. They going to put a lap on four-alarm Blaze Andrich. Well, Blaze is going to fight for it a little bit. Goes wide and allows Christian on by. Hildegard now. Putting lapping now up to 18th spot.
Yeah, and Betfar is only 3.4 seconds behind now, so that gap's still slowly coming down. But I'm wondering if Christian's maybe just looking after his tyres a little bit and just trying to stretch out the second stint as long as possible and maybe do another 23 lap run. Yeah.
And Brophy reports, I see he is, so Chin is on that private label Team Hype squad. Clindy checking in. IMS, or as they call it, Gary's backyard. Well, my old house in Indianapolis, it was a lot closer, yeah. But if you want to talk about some people in the backyard, we're not going to really see it from this point of view. But overlooking, tell me what we got.
Valero and RM3 are pitting, as well as Kevin Burrell.
All right, we'll get
And so Kraus pitted with him last time by, but now he's going to be able to go another lap and probably jump him.
They are way down pit road, so we're going to watch them head this way. So if you watch, look at the map of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, right behind turn 3 are literally people's backyards. And there is a owner of one of the houses back there that Burrell on pit road, barely getting into the rightmost portion of his stall. Barely. His tires are hanging out over that white line. Shaving precious seconds. Tenths of seconds off by doing that. He's out and down in the way. Robert Malechka might get around Valero.
And he's on the alternates, as well as Matsuda, so putting him a little earlier than we thought. Everybody else,
there you go.
Still on the primers.
There's a house there behind turn 3 that has a tree big enough that the owner went up and put a tree house in it. And he can look over the turn 3 stands and see the speedway. And he was actually, during the pandemic race, one of the few people that actually watched the race live from his house. That's pretty cool.
Man, that was so weird. That empty speedway race.
That whole weekend was so weird that to just not have a race there Memorial Weekend and then wait till August. And we're going to see conditions that we'll never see again for that race just because it was in August. Good race. Sato did a great job.
Yeah, I remember watching that race and watching the interview with Scott Dixon afterwards, and you can tell by Scott Dixon's reaction and look in his face. He was not all happy as Hildegard dives into the lead from the lead.
Oh, Malechka is going to be able to make the move there on Valero, as we also have...
and Kraus on his outside. Oh, wow. Silvazzi trying to let the leaders on by, just in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Now you got to go single file through the chicane. There's nothing you can do about it. He can move over here on the Holman Straight. Oh, and by the way, racing right behind him. Now this is all battle for position because Silvazzi has not pitted yet. Is Kraus, and Kraus gets around Valero.
Yeah, but very smart from Silvazzi. He's in a different strategy. He's going to pit probably this lap or maybe next time by to just let this guy go by.
Hildegard
making a good use of those alternate tires. They're faster for a bit, and now he's hounding Sticks there for P4.
Hildegard on pit road.
Butterfur.
And Butterfur, they're down and away. Hildegard in pit lane. And pit lane here is very long, 53 seconds, although John on pit road for 52.7. So he actually shaves another 0.3 off the lead by being on pit road just a little bit less.
Malechka to the outside of Sticks. Oh, they make a tiny bit of contact. Malechka actually gets it done. Move him up to 4th. And now we have Phil Kraus getting closer and closer to Sticks.
So you're talking about the 2000. We're watching this battle right here, the 2020, Indy 500 with a pandemic race, and Dixon afterwards, and of course the 2021 race where he dominated a good chunk of it. Forget which it was. The 2022. I think it was 2022. He dominated a good chunk of it and then sped on pit road.
Yeah, 2022 was the year because I remember he pretty much dominated qualifying and then, like you said, dominated the race and then basically just oversped slightly on the pit entry, and they basically ended up falling behind by 1 lap. Yeah.
And that kind of started the conversation. Here comes Kraus to the inside of Sticks. And Kraus gets the position over Sticks, although Sticks not done yet. So that kind of started, at that point, the discussion then of who has more bad luck at Indianapolis, and Andretti or Dixon. And I'll say this: And Andretti has far more bad luck. I've crunched the numbers. And Andretti,
Yeah,
regardless of who you are, even John Andretti, and Andretti has worse luck at Indianapolis than Scott Dixon has ever had.
Yep. Because I remember Michael Andretti was pretty much dominating in 1992, I think it was.
91 and 92.
And 92, he was dominating until the closing stages. And then, towards the end, his engine decided to just, it's like, I'm done.
It was a cheap little part, too. They said it was just a cheap, tiny little part that was, probably could have been replaced, but no one bothered to think about replacing it because it never goes, and it's that just, of course, that's the luck. Now, he's got his wins as a team owner, so he made it all up. But, yeah, I kind of crunched the numbers. I was really surprised to find out that I think between Michael and Mario, they combined to have together, like 5 or 6 races where they managed to reach the 200 laps, reach the 500 miles. That's how bad their luck was. On the number of races that they had here, you combine the two of them, I think it's 5 races.
Yeah, if we're talking about epic Indy 500 races, but probably one of my favourites is the 2021 race when Elio Castroneves made that fantastic move on the outside into turn 1 on Alex Palou.
Oh yeah. I was there for that one. That was my last 500, and actually I got to be there for all 4 of Elio's wins.
Hey, guys, don't look now, but John Bettifer is absolutely flying.
Yeah, we got him.
That lead that Hildegard had, gone, absolutely obliterated. It's down to 4/10, and last time by, he was a second faster. He's on the alternate tire, so
he's got to make it.
They are going to the grade, but he's making them work so far really, really well. And now he has a great run there on the exit of the chicane.
He's got to make them work quickly, though. Because he's got to get past them and then put a bit of a delta between him and Christian. And then as the tires go off, then Christian will close the gap. But the gap he needs to not close and include passing them back. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. He's going to have a great run here.
I wonder if
defensive line.
Christian goes defensive, he goes outside. Oh, that was brave.
Christian goes a little wide, and now I don't think he's going to be able to defend from this one. Although he's on the bottom.
He is. John's not.
But that actually helps John because, he's going to be benefiting from that draft.
Takes a peek. Nope. Let's ride with John. And we got to reset the field also after the last round of pit stops, which we'll do real quick, but we'll watch this battle for the lead.
Great exit again, and now he's on the bottom. He's going to have a great opportunity.
Whoa, boys.
Oh,
A little bit of contact.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of checking there.
Yeah, I think John was sticking his nose where it wasn't wanted, and that was a bit silly from him.
Very, when you're out on that non-tarmac portion, that's a bit opportunistic. But if he would have got the run or got the pass, it would have looked great on a replay.
Now, if John wants to make a move on the home straight, he's got to try and get closer on the home straight. Yeah. But again, Christian's on the push to pass.
And how many do we have for each of them? Because right now, John is kind of like, storing them for later.
Yeah, well, let me report that here real quick. Today's coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Your Push the Pass report coming up right now. Christian Hildegard has 7. John Bettifer has 7. Burrell has 6. 7 for Malechka. 7 for Kraus. 6 for Stix. 7 for Valero.
Oh my God, he got really close.
Newman has 7. Will Weiser has 5. And Metsuda has 7. That's your top 10.
I mean, he definitely needs to find a way by him right now, or well, not necessarily right this corner, but soon, because we know that these tires, they're faster, but then, you know, they were much faster than the primary ones. So you have to, like you said, you want to go by and then make as much ground as you can to avoid them, you know, having the upper hand once you are actually on the other tires. Again, heel around the bottom, not for Bedford. So now it's down to 6 pushes for Hildart. Advantage Bedford.
Here, Christian Hilgard there. See if we get a view out the rear of his car. There we go. Kind of letting the action speak for itself right now. Oh, John taking a look at the inside. Oof.
John's got a great exit and he's a lot closer this time around, but again, Christian's on the push to pass, so he's down to 5. John's still got 2 more left than him.
And we still got a long ways to go. 54 of 85, so we got to save some of those pushes left. Kraus on the button there at the same time.
Yeah, seems like Krause's march forward has kind of stalled a little bit. Again, RM3 is currently on the alternate guard, so he's a little faster.
Has it stalled, or just the level of driver that he's reached is pretty good?
That too, of course.
Yeah. Not to discount anyone else in the lineup, though, but I mean, this is the IIS, so the cream does rise to the top.
Indeed it does.
Whereas, again, the rule set on this, no tire limits. This is open setup. It's not fixed setup, so everyone's developing their own setup for this race. These larger teams, much like real IndyCar racing, have multiple drivers to become test drivers. Here comes the pass. Outside.
Oh, they're getting a bit close.
He's just sending them to the wall. A little bit of a Hilgard fade. And side by side through 1 and 2.
Oh, can Christian hold it on the outside, the inside rather?
Oh, he's going to have the faster line coming through, and then he slams the door with the Brazilian slide right in front of the wing, and then they have to go single file through the chicane there. Now down the Holman straight. One more time. We're going to repeat what we saw a couple laps ago. Oh, Christian, a little bit more of a fade now, getting back wide, making that turn nice and wide. Again, coming through a single file portion. Now they're in a portion of the racetrack where they can start spreading out.
Yeah, just give me a second, chaps. I need to wipe the sweat off my forehead because this is tense stuff.
But while Hildegard's defending, I mean, John is really using up those red tires to try to get by him.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure. That's not really helpful for his cause.
Here we go. Not on push to pass, but he is in the draft. Hilgard defensive line right next to the pit wall. Pushes him out to the outside wall, to the retaining wall there.
Yeah, Christian needs to watch when John's onside because he can't really afford to keep squeezing him against the wall. Otherwise, he could risk ruining his own race, or even worse, taking both of them out.
Yeah, he is not now, folks. Might think, hey, he's blocking. Nah, not really blocking. IndyCar rule of blocking is you're allowed one move, and then after that you react to the car behind you. Then you're blocking.
Yeah, he's just taking defensive lines. I mean, that's really good racing by both of them.
Yeah, I think if you're John, you start to get frustrated because you know you're on the quicker basically you're quicker at the moment, but you just can't you can't do anything to get by because Christian's just doing such a good defensive job.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm not sure, but I think his opportunity was last lap, and I don't see that he's going to be able to make it by because of what you said. I mean, those alternate tires are good, but they degrade. So we're gonna get. We saw that that's starting to, these red tires to start to kind of fade away a little bit after 10 laps. Well, we're at 10 laps of this thing for Bedford, so yeah. And you can see that Hildgard is now
pulling away
a little bit away.
Yeah, it's got 3/10.
Yeah, and I wonder if that was in Christian's plan, try and hold up John as long as possible, and then basically once those alternate tires start dropping off on John's car, just try and pull away and build a bit of a margin.
That's a big gamble, though. I mean, you want a driver the caliber of John there to run up and race you, but not pass you. That says a lot. I mean, you're asking an awful lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what I mean? It's like, well, I'm gonna let you get close. I'm gonna race you, but you're not gonna pass me.
I mean, I don't think he went. I mean, I would imagine that everybody thought that the strategy was primary, and then alternate to end the stint. So I don't think that Christian saw this coming of John changing it and using the alternate tires on the second to last stint to try and get closer. But once it started being that way, he was like, okay, well, he saw Bedford get closer and closer and closer, completely erase that gap, and then it was like, I need to defend, because if he gets in front of me, well, then I'm going to be at a disadvantage. Even though I'm going to be on the faster lap, on a faster tire for a couple of laps, if he makes a big enough gap, then it's not going to be, I'm not going to be able to do it. So, yeah, very smart driving and heads-up driving from both of them, like changing the strategy on the go and responding to it.
I think we're seeing a bit of the same thing happening, but not as close proximity for Burrell and Malechka. Malechka was about 1.4, and now he's starting to fall back from Burrell by about 1 point. Well, he's in the infield portion where it kind of shrinks, but it was about 1.6 at one point.
Yeah, and at one point, Kraus was like 2 seconds away from Malechka. That's down to 1.6. Again, that's going to start. And as we turn more laps and more laps, that's going to be even more noticeable. Although, Kraus is right now stuck behind lap traffic.
Yeah, and that is Martin Fillion, who is in a... one of those Ed Carpenter, I believe. That's Ed Carpenter, or is that one of the Sancio used to be Carpenter. I believe Sancio is Penske now. I think Penske has that sponsorship.
Yeah, I think Penske's had that. Had that sponsorship for quite a while now.
Oh yeah, that's a Penske car.
Yeah.
Has a Verizon contingencies as well.
But if we're talking about Penske liveries and sponsors, my favourite all-time Penske liveries has to be the Marlboro colours.
The Marlboro, yep.
Such an iconic paint job, yeah.
But instead of when basically they got rid of the tobacco sponsorship, I like what Penske done. Instead of having Marlboro on the car, they just replaced it with Team Penske.
Right. And for many seasons leading up to that, they were known as Marlboro Team Penske. So really, when you said Team Penske, you were thinking non-spokenly Marlboro, of course.
Yeah.
But interesting enough that Penske actually did not have directly that Marlboro sponsorship until 1989. Actually, 1990, excuse me. Leading up to that was actually Patrick Racing had it for a couple of seasons when Mo drove for them. And then the one season before Mo got it, actually Al Unser Sr. drove that car at the 500. A lot of people forget that. But then Penske, for the longest time, they were the you saw Norton and Gould. Of course, they had some financial companies they used before, and then as they got into the mid '80s, it was Pennzoil that was primary, right. And then Miller American, the Miller American Special by Danny Sullivan.
Yeah, I love that livery. And
then the Hertz rental company, of course, that's after Penske acquired them, and all of a sudden become a sponsor. Convenient. And then after a while, all the cars became Marlboro. In fact, really, when they had the Beast in '94, and we're watching Philip Kraus right now. When they had the Beast in '94, it should have been all three of them on the front row. It was two of them and Raul Boesel. But what happened is, in leading up to quals, Tracy wrecked, which really caught everybody off guard on the team, and they had to kind of scramble, and that's why he's so low in the lineup, is that he kind of really wrecked the primary car and kind of screwed things up. But he was the way they were going all week, and everyone said they were sandbagging, and they were sandbagging. 100% they were sandbagging. But there was going to be 1, 2, 3 those guys on the front row, but it's because Tracy wrecked. Really didn't have the same car and couldn't bring himself up to speed.
All right. So we are now at that point where those alternate tires are
trash.
Really not good anymore. Yeah. Yeah, Jan Bedeffer, from being 2 tenths behind and fighting for the lead, he's now a second back. And RM3, who was, again, at some point, like 2 seconds in front of Phil Kraus, well, that gap is down to 8 tenths. And, they're going to have to suffer through these for maybe another 3 or 4 laps once they can come back. Well, they could probably short pit a little bit and get rid of them earlier just to avoid bleeding time.
So if 23 laps is kind of the magic number, then really the window's open right now.
Yep. Yeah, they could.
They could put it right now and go to the end. Maybe one more lap. Just to, if you want to use push to pass and not go as close on fuel.
Yeah, exactly. Give yourself a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, that was going to bring me on to a question as well. What do you do if you're John and you see Christian pit in front of you? Do you react and pit at the same time, or do you go for another lap and try and jump him?
I don't think he has anything left in those tires. He'd be gaining right now if that was the case.
Yeah, he's going to have to come earlier. Like, maybe he could potentially come right this time by. Kraus making, a great move there on Robert Maleshka. There we go. Move Kraus up to 4th.
Let's watch this right now on a replay. Oh, yeah, you're right. He just yanks the car to the left and jerks it over. Look at those rotors glowing red, and pulls off the pass. And you're right. I mean, he's not going to have any better opportunity to get that pass done than right there with those red tires being just absolutely trash right now. Track temp is 98. We've had the temperature up on the screen the entire time for everybody. Track temp's 98, and the ambient's 77. So it is kind of hot out there for these tires, and that adds to the tire wear.
Indeed, it does. But sorry, Ryan, you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was just going to say, I wonder if Christian's maybe trying to go to lap 65 or 65 or 66, and then basically they pit and basically just get his last stop out of the way. Or
he's stretched that lead to 2 seconds now.
Yeah, I think everybody that's right now on the primary tires and that hasn't used the alternates, they're going to want to extend this as much as possible. If they can pit on 66 or 67, that's going to be even better for them, because then it's going to make it a shorter field.
Baden Fury in the pits. There he is. Yep, he just couldn't last any longer. Yeah. I thought actually Hilgard might go to pit road with the lap traffic in front of him. You might just say, you know what, I don't need that dirty air. I don't need that distraction. I'm just going to come to pit road and possibly come out with a cleaner racetrack in front of me. But he is going to go stick to the strategy, go long as he can possibly go. Shorter fill.
Yeah, and Maleshka also pit in. Yeah, those tires were gone.
And it's shorter fill and less laps to do on the red tires because he still needs to switch to those tires, I believe. I'm showing prime in his 3 stops.
Yeah, Hilgard, Burrell, Kraus, Sticks, and Neumann there, P6. Weiser, I think, as well. They all need to go to the alternates.
Yep, you're correct. Yep.
Yep, so I've got a feeling that Christian might dive into the pits if he's got traffic in front of him as one of the lap cars gets out of the way.
gets out of the way. Zavazzi's back in 13th now. It's they are lapped up to P12.
No, Christian stays out.
Ollie McGowan is 12th there. Ollie's up 5 spots. He's on push to pass. He's like, oh, crap, here comes the leader. Let's go. I want to stay in the lead lap. If there's one, Burrell's in. If there's one minor victory that everyone can have when they come out of some of these races, especially with some of these IndyCar races, if you can stay on the lead lap, that's like a victory in itself.
Man, yeah, that's a huge accomplishment.
There's Ollie. There's Sandberg. Sandberg's at 11th.
Weiser pitting in as well.
Now Weiser's been up in the top 10 all day. Great run for him. Several drivers really excel at this track, and they run it so much. I'm glad also on the real IndyCar schedule watching Hilgard. Okay, here comes Ollie to pit road. But I like that the fact that they decided to go back to a one time a year on this road course, because I think seeing it twice a year, that second time, I know that second time, there's a couple things I didn't like about that second race. It was the opening act of NASCAR. I just absolutely hate beating. That's a support race. And I don't want to be a support race to NASCAR. They can be a support race to us, for crying out loud. I don't. And also that second race, that's terribly not terribly exciting. Although it was great to see Dixon win. And poor Ray Hall just was trying to get a win out of that one too after having such a crummy season. Of course, he did not have a good day today too. I think he had a mechanical issue. And you mentioned Augie Canapino. He was P2 in the first practice. Now, look, I know qualifications are going on right now. I want to see no spoilers whatsoever. So I'm not looking at Twitter, and keep it out of chat. That's a quick way to...
Now that you mentioned it, somebody's going to say it.
Yeah, that's a quick way to get yourself banned right now. So
I was going to say, just wait for it. As Christian goes around again, so going for another lap. So I wonder if Christian's maybe trying to do another 22 or 23 lap stunt here, and then basically, before he dives in.
Rouse didn't. Yeah, but I mean, the good thing for Hilgard is, again, the more laps that he's able to do right now, the
less on the Reds.
Laps on the Reds.
Yeah.
So he's going to have this is great for him. And he was on the bottom for quite a bit, trying to keep Vetiver at bay. So what a masterful job on saving fuel.
Philip Kraus on the Reds, down and away, up 22 spots. I mean, maybe we call him Dr. Phil or something. I don't know. He just he has the touch. He has the touch. What happened to Matsuda? I see him on pit road, but I don't see a driver in the car. He's out 11 laps, so it's been a while.
Yeah, I saw him drop. I think he had a connection issue as well.
That's the danger from being over in Japan. That's awful. He's doing well in the points too, so that is not good. Here comes Hilgard.
Yeah, now it's about being smart. Don't speed. You have a great lead. You have a big buffer to P2, who is John Bedford, and now you're gonna be on the preferred tire for a short stint. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
He's coming in. Mitchell Bott makes their final stop. He is down on the way. He'll pass our leader, fall back to being one lap down. Currently 13th to 19th are the cars that are all one lap down. Hilgard is down on the way. He is on the reds, waits to get to that line to hit the button, and away he goes. So we talked about it in the pre-race. We haven't really seen much of it going on. There's Benefir right there.
Not far.
Yeah. We talked about it in the pre-race. Cold tires, and we have not seen it because really the track temperature has been very hot. But cold tires still, we have not seen it play a role, but it's still out there. It's still a topic.
So how is our push to pass situation? And I ask because my overlay is being silly and it's not giving me real values.
So my overlay, I was told by the developer that the name was supposed to either highlight or turn green on the tree if you're on the button, and I don't think it's doing that. So I'll have to take that back to him. But I'm just going off my timing screen right now. The push-to-pass situation, Christian Hilgard with 5, John Betafaro with 4, Kevin Burrell with 4, Philip Kraus with 5, Malechka with 5, Sticks with 4, Valero has a healthy amount of 7, but that could mean a variety of things, mainly because he's on a tight fuel number. Newman, he is at 5. Will Weiser, well, he needs to be a little bit wiser when he uses them down the stretch here because he only has 3 left. And Sam Karsala has worked his way up into the top 10. He is down to 6. Newman's on the button right now. He's down to 4.
I appreciated that joke. All right, so now there is a battle for the podium. Kevin Burrell is on the primary. No, sorry, he's on the alternate, as well as Phil Kraus. But Phil Kraus has been faster.
I think if I had to really guess and say, hey, Gary, who do you think is faster on equal terms right now? It's Kraus. I got nothing against the general. I love the general. I'll allow the general to lead me, But Kraus, you don't come from up 22 spots by being slow,
Yeah, no, you don't. Oh, Hilgard, purple lap by a lot, 111 flat.
Yeah, he's not higher.
111.094. When he needed it, because Benefir was right there. Now he's back 3 seconds.
Yeah, and this is what Bedford wanted to do. He wanted to get by Hilgard and use those alternate tires to set up some real fast laps real quick. But Hilgard did a masterful defense, and now he's doing exactly that, setting up some real fast laps, building as big of a gap as he can, because we know that these tires are going to fall off at some point, and that's going to give a little bit of an advantage to Bedford. But if you're 6 seconds in front, 7 seconds in front, it's not going to matter.
All right, we're going to ride along with Phil Kraus here. I think I will work with. I think I will work for the Dr. Phil nickname because he's a bit of he's the professor right now, Dr. Phil, and here he comes. He just getting closer in the braking zone.
Yeah, 111.4 for Kraus last time by, 112.36 for Burrell, so 0.8 difference.
So.
And,
I gotta ask Ryan. Do you know what Buc-ee's is, Ryan?
Buc-ee's. I don't think. Well, I have. It rings a bell, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. All right. So, besides getting past being sponsored of the car, just got passed for the lead or for P3 and the bottom step of the podium. Buc-ee's is basically it's a truck stop, like a super convenience store truck stop. And they have all sorts of. Apparently, the food's pretty good. We don't have one here in Indiana. We're getting one here really soon. I think we're getting 2 in the area, and supposedly they're like big community events when they open these Buc-ee's up. So I'll have to go check one out. But yeah, it's kind of a southern USA truck stop brand that you normally find along interstate exits and that type of thing. And they'll sell gas and cater to truckers and have food and everything. But I hear it's quite the experience to walk into one of their stores.
Yeah, I've never been to one, but I saw quite a few of them in the Carolinas.
So it's basically like a
Love's.
It's like a truck stop cafe, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. I get what you mean.
And
we've got something similar in the UK in some places. So yeah, I think it's probably pretty much the same thing.
And of course, that their lovable Bucky, the beaver character. I think that's what he is.
Yeah, he's a beaver.
Bucky that just opens up a whole host of other jokes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on the racetrack.
Pascal 6 is getting close to RM3 there.
From the beaver to Pascal Sticks.
Oh man,
it has been late for me.
A long race.
Yeah,
it's been a long race.
I did 3 hours last night. Another 2 hour. These are typically about 2 hour races here. Most of your IndyCar races, I had a F1 fan say IndyCar races are too long, and I'm like, they're right around 2 hours. They're about the same time distance as yours.
Yeah, I was going to say F1 races are about pretty much 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that argument gets thrown out the window from me.
No, it doesn't work for me either. And really, IndyCar road races are right around 200 miles, give or take. We're at 207 today, 207 and some change. Yep. But Formula Ones are, of course, they measure in kilometers. But when you convert, they do their road races are right around 190 miles. So again, it doesn't really sit with me that Formula One races, they're shorter, and IndyCar races are longer. But it's not like you're sitting there for ages longer. Sticks looking on the inside of RM3. Not going to have enough time or room to make that pass there, going down the Holman Straight. We'll continue to watch this battle. This is for 5th.
Oh, but actually something interesting that I just noticed. RM3 is on the alternate again, so he's double dipping on that one. I guess he felt good for a while and decided to throw them back on. Again, they're faster at the beginning of the stint, but then they start giving way. And, advantage to Sticks, because he has 2 laps on Maleska. So although they're on the same tire, fresher tires.
Both on the button.
Sticks.
Both on the button. I'm going to chew up one more push to pass situation with those guys. It is 3-2 advantage Maleska on the push to pass situation. Weiser on the button at the moment in 9th. And if you're not familiar, again, you get 10 pushes of the button, last 20 seconds. It used to be without the turn 1 portion. That as soon as you exited the infield portion and got on the oval on the Grand Prix course, I believe you could push the button and it would run out just before getting to turn 1. I think that's how it was. It was one of the few tracks that you could actually push the button and it would run out the 20 seconds. And then turn itself off. The other track, Le Mans. Not that we race there very often.
No, but that would make sense. Yeah, that would sound straight. Yeah. Both on the bottom again. So that would mean that Maleska is down to 2 and Sticks down to 1.
Sticks is not on the button. He's on staying on green. Maleska, there he is. He's on the button.
Oh, no, it was Burrell.
Yeah, Burrell is on the button. Burrell's trying to keep pace with Kraus. Kraus has a little bit of lap traffic in front of him. But then again, so does Burrell. Burrell has McGowan in front of him. Kraus has Silvazzi. And, we got John got held up by that traffic. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of holding up there. That happens. It's part of racing. Got Mark Murphy in chat. Murph, these fellas sure can turn right a lot better than I can. and he says the delivery on Malechka, he calls it check mix versus sticks.
Huh.
I like it.
I like Chex Mix.
But I don't. That's not a good nickname for that. RM3 is the working nickname for Robert.
Yeah, RM3. No, I was saying I like Chex Mix. I mean, it's good. I like
9 to go.
Jumping on those things.
I had a peer on the broadcast last night calling Robert Roberto on the race, and I'm like, man, no, you don't want to call him Roberto. Roberto doesn't have very good luck here in Indianapolis.
No, Roberto Moreno, no.
Well, he was mentioned the super sub, and he did all right. I'm thinking more Guerrero, but I would never call Robert Malechka Roberto.
Oh. No, yeah, Guerrero had like the worst ever.
Started off good, second, third, fourth, second.
For Guerrero?
Yeah, his first 4 races, second, third, fourth, second.
Right, but then he was like rotten.
Yeah, so in his after his 87 race, I believe he got in a wreck at Indianapolis in testing. Very serious. Ooh, Malechka inside, guys, careful. Sticks really closed the gap there, taking advantage of that lap traffic. That was Sylvian Moraine. But yeah, he got in a very bad. He was in a coma for a very long time. Very serious wreck. Here at Indianapolis.
Was it the Quaker State car? I'm not sure.
It was the Quaker State car that he kind of made his comeback with, getting the track record, driving for Kenny Bernstein. He had that Buick engine in it, the big Buick engine, qualified for the pole, set the track record that stood really till 96 when Ari beat it. But he said, and then unfortunately that very cold 92 morning, and I remember that morning vividly, waking up, going outside, getting ready to listen to the race on the radio, and you're like, I'm going to go outside and listen. No, I'm not going to go outside and listen to the race on the radio. It was brutally cold. And, just warming up his tires on the backstretch, and that Buick engine works a little bit differently than the other engines that were kind of on the grid, and he lit up those rear tires and right around, inside wall, day done. Very embarrassing. And never really quite recovered, although 96 with Pagan, he had a pretty good run here. I think he led the most laps, got caught up in a big wreck at the end, coming to checkers. But he did a bit of a run there on the IRL, didn't do too bad, and then probably wisely decided that he had enough money and wanted to call it quits. Here comes Pascal Sticks to the inside of RM3.
Outbreaks him.
Oh! I thought RM3 was going to swing that nose around and make a little contact with that left rear.
It looked that way from my point of view. Maybe there was a tiny bit of contact, but I mean, it's
very
great
close
move by Pascal there.
Very close. Yes, and Mark Murphy says that after Granatelli lost that STP sponsorship, which that's what Guerrero had in 87, excuse me, that it was a bright orange, day glow orange. I mean, you could see the car from a mile away. The pictures that you see on if you go searching for it right now, unless someone found the original car and took a digital picture, the pictures that you find of the car really don't do it justice because they're so washed out because it's film and they're scanned digital. A digital picture does it more justice. It was just a bright orange car. You could see it for miles. The next season, it was sponsored by Scientology, the Church of Scientology, of all things. Yeah. So withhold jokes here, but that was at a time where really just, kind of IndyCar teams needed sponsorship of every kind just to kind of survive.
Yeah, whatever pays the bills.
Yeah, pays the bills. Look at Stingray Rob, pray.com. Everybody go today.
So, what can I say? Nothing to say.
Nothing. We're just letting these last 6 laps run out. Christian Hildegard, your leader. Let's reset the field really quick. Again, thanks everybody for joining us. You are watching the Indy GP round of the IIS here on Race First. We got 6 laps to go, so we are on the closing stages. This is round 5. Everybody, click the bell. Make sure to get the subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Click the thumbs up actually, then ring the bell so you don't miss out on future Race First programming. Got a lot of it coming up here, but Christian Hildegard is your leader by about 6 seconds over Beta Fuhrer. Beta Fuhrer 10 seconds over Kraus, 4 seconds over Burrell, 2 seconds over Stix, and the big battle right there is still between Stix and Maleshka, RM3. That is your closest battle within the top 10 at the moment. Valero has 2 up to this battle. Newman 5 back up to Bolero, 12 from Weiser up to Newman, and 4, almost 5 from Karsala up to Weiser. That's your top 10.
And Valero has actually been making quite a bit of time. He was like 4 seconds behind Maleshka, down to 1.7.
Yeah, he's got a lap car, though, between himself. But Ollie McGowan, I would imagine Ollie's going to take a dive to the inside here. Yep, and just kind of ease up, letting the leaders on by. Very good racing etiquette. Everybody's been really, really good today. We have not seen very much contact by anybody. No. I think we've seen a couple wings go flying, a couple one-wing angels out there, but other than that, no one into the wall, no one into the barriers that we've seen.
Yeah, no big wreck, no nothing. Great job, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say that the racing's been really, really clean throughout the field, and I was expecting to see mayhem in turn 1 on lap 1, just with the field being so bunched up. But to credit to the drivers, they've put on a good show and great racing.
Yeah, and it also looks like we're getting to that point for Hildegard where the tires are no longer that great. But it's 4 more laps, so it's really not a problem. Last time by, Bettever was 3/10 quicker than Hildegard. But I don't think he's going to have enough time. He built a large enough gap between them both. But yeah, Valero bringing that gap down, 1.3 now. So watch out for him.
Martin Fillion back in 15th, top 15 run for him. Lionel Mays 16th. Shebalov, Alexei. We're really debating in the pre-race how to say his last name. So Alexei, if let us know, and let us know in the Race First Discord. We'll make sure to say it right. But he's back in 17th. Mitchell Bott, saw him briefly on pit road. He is 18th. Pally Bay, up 8 spots to 19th. Anytime you could improve that many spots, I would say that's a pretty good day.
Yeah, and especially if you're like the 27 car, that's great.
That's going to really reward you with some valuable iRating at the end of this. Of course, that's at the end of the day, the pay. Well, Malechka, he's with Bay right now, kind of stuck in traffic. Bay moving. There's really not a place for Bay to move over here and say, come on by, fellas, and now they got to go through single file through the chicane again. Where you can't really hide there. Now you're on the home and straight, so Polly can kind of ease out of it.
That really didn't help Valero at all.
Nope. But it's nobody's fault. It's just bad timing. No. Yeah. 3 to go. Track temp 92, air temp 76.
Now Hildegard is trying to offset that tire difference by being on the bottom. And now Bettever does the same thing.
Yep. 3-2 advantage there on the button for John. No, it's not. At 5 seconds, it's minimal improvement at this point. Really, Hildegard just really needs to hit his marks and bring this car home, and he is looking at another victory here in the IIS.
Yeah, and again, John is gonna get closer. There's no question about it. But I don't think he's gonna be able to. He would need to do 2.5 seconds per lap. That's way too much.
So Ryan, when are we gonna get you to Indianapolis, man? For real.
For real. I'll really love to go to Indianapolis because I do enjoy watching the 500 and or basically just the month of May in general. I'd love to go. I mean, yeah, it'd be good to get over someday and have a few beers or a few milks with you guys.
Right on. Last
For
lap
sure.
here, Hildegard. We'll get Antonio back up here.
Yeah, man. No problem.
I don't have to tell him twice.
Loved it last time, but yeah, I didn't have to tell him twice.
And you brought your wife last time. She enjoyed herself, didn't she?
Yeah, she had a really, really good time.
That's good to hear. So Hildegard now completing the infield portion, getting ready to pop out onto the oval for the next to last final time here on the short chute, turning into the Turn 1 complex. Satellite Racing had a great race last night with Chad Simpson and the ERL. Kind of got crashed out there in a late incident. But a good recovery for the team, led by Christian Hildegard here at Indianapolis on the road course. Hildegard wins at Indy.
Man, what a race. What a good race by Hildegard. Very, very smart. And Bedford made an effort. He gave it his all. Brought down the gap to 3.7 seconds.
And here comes
that gap was too big.
Here comes Dr. Phil, P3. And Kevin Burrell.
And to the line,
fourth.
Valero trying to make it by Maleshka. Not enough.
Yeah. I think we're hearing Hildegard burn it down. And he's going to be joined. Everyone's going to do synchronized burnouts here. All right, let's get these replays queued up. We'll get the final standings out here. And then we'll get into the interview room. There we go. And let's get these final standings, shall we? Here we go. Cue up this, cue the drums. There we go. One more time. Let's clear off all the stuff on the screen. Let's even get that track map off there. Christian Hildegard finished where he started. Did a 3-stopper, led 85 laps. He led them all. He did have the purple lap. Let's see, did he get the Grand Slam? He won the pole, won the race, got the purple lap, led all the laps. That's the Grand Slam. All right, well, I have no reaction from anybody else in the gallery. So Christian Hildegard wins the race with the Grand Slam, led everything in every key category, gets the win. John Batenfield, P2. Philip Krause up 23 spots, up to third. Burrell fourth. Sticks in fifth. Malechka in sixth. Valero started up front, but just again, I think it might have been on the wrong tire strategy. Probably should have reversed it, but when you're at 9K, maybe you have the benefit of and luxury of doing a little bit of experimentation. And it didn't work out this time, but down to 7th. Solid day for him. Sven Newman 8th, Will Weiser in 9th. Good day for him. And Carcella, a great day for them as well. They are in 10th. Moving on. Forlarm, Blaze Andrich, very quietly with the P11 right there. Great run for him. Anders Sandberg, another good one. Good run for the Team Watson Racing setup-sponsored machine. In 12th, Silvazzi. We'll see him later in the Vor Series. Finishes 13th. Ollie McGowan in 14th. Philly in 15th. Maze, hopefully saying that the right way, 16th. Alexei Shabanov, 17th. Bott in 18th. Polly Bay, 19th, up 8 spots. Good run for them, as we mentioned. Moraine in 20th. Fred Gwynn in 21st. Monacut in 22nd. Hines 23rd. Susi 24th. Matsuda with an unfortunate disconnect issue 25th. Brandborg 26th. And Philip Breschka 27th. And the final car, this 27 card field. And no cautions, as you see, happened. That's road course racing. All right. Before we get into the interview room really quick, I do want to say today's coverage is sponsored by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the description. Interview room time, guys. And there is John. We'll bring him on up. Don't see Philip yet. Maybe he might. Maybe he will. We'll see. We'll bring up John here. Hey, John. Got you in the booth with Gary and Ryan and Antonio. Well, I guess I want to get your take on that battle that you had with Christian when you were at that one point on the Reds and a little bit faster than them and couldn't quite pull off that pass. And then after that, it seemed like that might have been your last gasp. I would imagine that you're kind of lukewarm on the P2 finish, but still, I think there's a lot of drivers that might still like to trade that spot with you. So go ahead and talk about your race and that battle with Christian.
Yeah, it was a good, fun battle. It was really fair from Christian. I did not mean to hip check him like I did, so but he was understanding, so we're all good there. But yeah, it was a fun battle. I wish I could have got by and made it more interesting at the end of the race, but just couldn't quite hang it around the outside in turn one, and the couple times I think I got alongside, it just wasn't enough there to really get him offline. So. Yeah, good result, but wish I could have got by. What
more you think you could have done to possibly improve the setup or run him down, or was he just that much on the rails than you today?
Really, it started with qualifying. Our qualifying setup is just god-awful, so having to pass 3 cars before I was definitely running him down on the primes by a couple tenths a lap, and I think I was telling him just a minute ago that I think if I stayed on the same tires as him, I think we would have had a really good battle at the finish. But yeah, just the couple lap cars held me up when I was trying to undercut too at the end. So who knows? He definitely had the pace, but there's a few factors. If I could ever get ahead of him, maybe I get to put on the defense that he did. So.
Well, P2 is going to help you in the championship. You are in the top 10. Next up is Indianapolis. Last time we talked to you, we weren't sure if you're going to run it. Are you going to run Indy, or are we going to see that as possibly maybe what you're going to use for a drop week?
Still undecided. It'll probably be a last-minute thing. So we don't really have any good oval setup work. So if anyone's willing to send me one, I'm down to drive it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how many people feel sorry enough to send you a good oval setup right now.
Yeah, we'll find out. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll probably just be a grid and go thing and see how it goes. But.
Yeah, well, you never know how those things turn out, especially if there's a lot of attrition. Just all you really need to do, the magic there at Indy, is just keeping it on the lead lap, set yourself up for the last 100 miles, and then go from there. And I think it's well within your skill set, and you'll probably do pretty well. But I understand totally. Before we let you go, I know you got some teammates, sponsors, friends, families, people you want to shout out. So go right ahead for finishing second here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys watching in Discord, so I appreciate them supporting. And big shout out to GSI, again, the Hyper P1, holding a nice steady wheel all race, so that was a lot of fun. And then Hydro Race also for the support. Thank you all.
Congratulations. Hopefully we see you in Indianapolis, but maybe we probably see you next at Detroit. That's going to be a busy weekend. But congratulations. Good seeing you again, and hope to see you at the next race in the future.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Phil is here, and we will bring him up. Hey, Phil, we got you here in the booth with Antonio and Gary and Ryan. I think we've decided what your nickname is possibly going to be. It's either the Professor or Dr. Phil, because you just, like a skilled surgeon, carve through this field. First of all, why did you start last? Was it going to be, I want to do the worst from first challenge, or did you miss qualifications?
I was just bored. Because I already ran Wednesday, and our race was kind of boring because I just kind of drove away. I wanted to have some fun, race with the field, and see how far I could get. But definitely not. Professor's not a good name. Might have ripped someone's front wing off by accident, so a professor wouldn't do that. But, yeah, it was fun to drive through the field at least, but I had floor damage from like lap 8 or so of the race, so without that, I don't know if I would have got to John and Christian, but
was that because of popping the curves, or did you actually get in contact with somebody else other than that?
That was from popping a car.
Okay.
That was from popping a car. That's the guy who lost a wing.
Okay, that's what we weren't sure exactly. That was more of a side hit, and I'm surprised that actually gave you floor damage. But okay, all right.
Yeah, it broke my floor, gave me side pod damage, and I could see like the cooling vents under the side pod. So.
Oh, okay.
We lost a little bit of downforce on the left side of the race car.
Man, but you were still flying. Like, you were setting up some of the fastest lap times. Whenever you got some clean air, you would be like eating away at the gaps that you had with the guys in front. So then that happened when you were passing Shalovanov, I think. That's where you got the damage.
Shelbanov, yeah, I think that's what Shelbanov, yeah.
Yeah, I remembered his first name, not his last name, so I had to double check real quick. But yeah,
Alexei.
That was just really clumsy from me, to be honest. I already apologized to him. I don't know if he saw it. I hope he did, because I feel bad, because it effectively ended his race, because I saw he had to pit at the end of lap 9, because he lost half of his front wing.
Well, before we let you go...
Outside of that little scuffle, I had fun.
Well, before we let you go,
sorry, Alexei.
We do want to get your comment here. Of course, next up is the Oval. We just know how well you and your entire team is on the Oval, whether a fixed race, whether an open race. We watched one of your teammates last night just fall, so short. I think, what do you say, 0.27 seconds for a third-place finish at Indianapolis, Jason Brophy in the ERL. Are you ready for now oval action on the big track?
I mean, I think that's what everyone in the IndyCar looks forward to, going to the Indianapolis Oval and ripping that. It's not my favorite track. I'm more a road guy, but still, I know the significance of Indy. But more so looking forward to the special event 500 over in June. But it'll be a nice warm up. Running IIS in 2 weeks' time, I think it is.
Yeah.
For that,
yeah, 25th.
Be a good I know a lot of guys will be over in India for the actual race, so might not have the greatest head-to-head comparison, but it'll definitely be a good little warm-up before the race.
I hear you. Shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors. Go right ahead for finishing third, improved 23 spots.
Private label team hype, as always. Everyone over there. Tommy Milner runs the team. Ty, Jason, Connor, all my teammates. Yeah, it's fun working with them all, and it's nice to bring home good results for them.
Well, congratulations. It's not the professor, but maybe we go to the doctor, because the doctor does carve through the field like he does, and he makes. And sometimes when you're feeling sick, and you're sick because you just see how well Philip Kraus does racing over everyone with a broken car and setting purple laps, the doctor has to give you a cure as well. So maybe that's it. We'll see. But congratulations, man. Thanks for showing up today, and hopefully we'll see you at more in the future.
Yep. Cheers, Gary. Y'all have a good afternoon, and thanks for putting on the broadcast as always.
You got it. Thanks for being here. All right. So I have someone that just visited my studio that needs my attention. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Christian Hilgard up here. And Ryan, since he is your teammate, I'm going to let you have the interview. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
There he goes. All right. So we'll bring him on here. Christian, your winner today. Ryan, since it's your teammate, is going to do the interview. And we're just going to sit here and bask in your winning glory today.
Excellent.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Christian, first of all, congratulations on the win. That was a pretty much say not dominating performance, but yeah, you put in a stellar drive from start to finish. Yeah, how does it feel?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was at one point I was afraid it was going to be a bit of a lonely race with Phil starting at the back, and to be honest, would I have beaten Phil if he started at the front? I'm not entirely sure I would have. Who knows? But as soon as John got through on the cars behind, and it became apparent that he had a lot of pace, I was like, okay, maybe we have a race after all. And then he went on to the Reds, obviously, and we had a bit of a battle. So it was a lot of fun. I was very happy that I was able to hold him off in the end. I think if he'd gotten through, he probably would have had the race. But at the end of the day, being held up on the Reds, he lost a lot of time. And as soon as the crossover point was there, I was pretty confident that I had the race from there.
Yeah, and we saw that fantastic battle between you and John, and there was a bit of wheel banging, if you like, from time to time. So, what was going through your mind at the time when
there's a hairy moment on the back straight, wasn't there?
Yeah,
John was
a little bit of a hip check, yeah.
Little hairy.
He was very close coming out of the quick chicane. I defended to the line, and he decided to go beyond the line, and I figured, you know what? Well, if you stay there, you're not going to make the corner. So you picked your line. Let's see what happens when we get closer to the corner. And I guess he tried to botch his way out. I think he thought that I was going to move further to the right sooner, but I held my ground, and there's a bit of a hip check, and luckily no damage. I'll be honest. As soon as I went into the corner and the car started sliding, I was like, "Oh no, it's over. That's the win over." But no damage, so no harm, no foul. It was a really fun battle.
Yeah, and then the last set of pit stops came around, and you switched to the red tires, and John went on a different compound for the finish. Obviously you built up a bit of a gap afterwards. What was the plan for the rest of the race? As soon as you saw the gap get up to about 5 seconds, was it just a case of bringing it home, or were you still in that pretty much push as hard as you can mode?
Well, it's a bit of a balance, right? As soon as I saw John was on the primes, I kind of figured I had the race. I didn't think he was going to be able to undercut me from there. And sure enough, I was able to get out just ahead of him. And from there, I knew I just have to take care of the tires, make sure I don't overdrive them so the crossover point doesn't happen too soon. And I should have the win from there with only, I think, 18 laps to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really just about making sure the tires were okay, keeping the temperatures down. And then for the final few laps, when I had I think about a 5-second gap and John was closing, I was just driving about, let's say, 98%. You don't want to push right up to the limit. That's when things can go wrong. But you also don't want to start coasting too much and lose your braking markers and start making mistakes from that. So it's just about maintaining a good balance of pushing but not going over the limit.
And then obviously the next race is pretty much everyone's favourite oval race, if you like, the Indy 500. Have you got any plans to take part, or are you just waiting until the next road course race?
I'll definitely try the IIS race. Probably not in top split. It is Indy after all, and I was trying to grind some Indy or oval iRating. It didn't go too well. A lot of death from people who.
It's Chicagoland. Are you trying the farm on Chicagoland week?
Oh no! I'm staying away from
that. Okay. I'm about to say that's a bad move.
Like, you know what? Let me get out of there. No, I tried a bit of farming at Michigan at the end of last season. The
okay.
Super Speedway, not the best place to farm necessarily, even if you have the pace. And then there was Iowa and Gateway, where I found it pretty natural. Really, it's almost a bit like road course driving in some capacities, where you can take care of the tires and use your pace advantage there to break away. But then, it doesn't take too long until you're coming up on lappers, and racing from Europe, sometimes the netcode is a bit iffy on the ovals. So it's been a little bit rough on the ovals. I feel like I'm doing okay on them, but the results are not necessarily saying the same thing.
Well, pro tip, and keep in mind it's coming from me, and I'm using the word pro loosely with pro tip. I hear Pocono is the one that people like to use a lot for oval farming, so keep that one in mind.
So I should have been driving last week.
But last week was a little different because it became a pack race due to Tempest. So
right. Oh, Tempest has really thrown a wrench in a lot of things. Yeah. Before we let you go, friends, families, sponsors, teammates, you name it, shout outs, go right ahead, and then we'll let you go so you can go celebrate your win here, or at least prepare for the next race tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, big shout out to the sponsors, Dr. Dabber, Nemesis Lab, Radness, and Ellis Engineering. Also, big shout out to all my teammates at Satellite. Of course, mainly Adam Crane, who was the main
chat.
guy on the IndyCar. Yeah, in chat as well. Big shout out to you, Adam. And then I also do have to give a shout out to Kevin, who of course left the team here at the weekend. He's been a great teammate to me always and a good friend. So very grateful for him, even if we have lost him from the team, which is definitely a blow. And at the end of the day, with the timing of the race, I still ended up running on a set that was predominantly made by Kevin. So he definitely had a stake in this win. So big shout out to him as well.
Well, congratulations. I got a feeling. I don't care what you say. I just think good drivers are good drivers, whether you're on an oval, a road course, or a street course. And something tells me that we put you on an oval here in Indianapolis. As I always like to say, the cream always manages to rise itself to the top. And I just don't see that any different for you. And I've just been a history, whether in real racing or in virtual racing, where these road course racers come here and say, I'm not going to do well here. And then they just run muck on everybody. So I got a feeling we'll see you, or if not, you'll do well, and then we'll see you again at Detroit. But I got a feeling, though, that we'll see you at Indianapolis one way or another.
Yeah.
So,
thank you, Gary.
Congratulations, and we will catch you at the next one. Your winner today, Christian Hilgard.
Later, guys.
All right, Justin Buschauer just joining us here in the booth as he's flying in from his split. Justin, how you do?
I just got done laughing my ass off, literally, because here's the thing. If for those of you that have heard of the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack, there's two versions of it. The clean version and the cuss pack. With the cuss pack on, right as soon as I took the checkered flag for 15th, because it turned into a fuel mileage race in my split, and the grip level was changing like crazy because of the amount of cloud cover we have. Immediately, right after I took the checkered flag, crossing the finish line at 15th, Chad Knaus out of nowhere comes over the radio and says, "You're fired." And it's like, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Starting with Ryan and going on to Antonio. Final thoughts for the day, and then early thoughts for Indianapolis. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I think looking forward to it. I do love Indianapolis, especially when it comes to the oval races. It's just one of those tracks that's got so much history behind it and steeped in tradition, as we all know. And looking forward to it.
Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a great race today. A lot of different strategies going into play. Phil Krause making it through the field, even with a damaged car. Imagine what would have happened if he didn't have any damage. But still, such a really good racer. And as for Indy, love it. I still need to work on my own setup. But yeah, what else can you say? It's the greatest spectacle in racing. And this is the month of May, and we're all gonna be driving laps and more laps around this place.
Yep.
Trying to make it to that virtual glass of milk. I'm certainly gonna be trying for that, and I'm sure that everybody that drives an IndyCar in iRacing is gonna be trying for that. So yeah, I'm excited about what's to come.
Yeah, all of a sudden, people that don't really like milk really, really want milk now. And these drivers are so impressive. Listening to Hilgard say, I was only driving 98% and setting the purple lap. And listening to Phil say, well, I wanted to do something different because it was boring my last race. I wanted to do something. You guys make me sick, but it's one of those good NV6 sick. So. Yeah, and it's a pleasure to bring these drivers to everybody and to watch them. So I am looking forward to Indianapolis. Of course, that's my home track. After this, I'm going to go get on Peacock and catch qualifying. Don't spoil it, anybody. I will kill you. No, I'm not going to say that because that's a threat. I will not like you if you do that. So let's do that. After this, we all go watch Peacock. But that's it for today. Once again, your podium from Indianapolis, Christian Hilgard, just running away with this thing. I believe he won the Grand Slam. He got the win, got the pole, got the fast lap, and led every single one of the 85 laps we did today. John Betafiore P2, and not the professor, but possibly the doctor. Philip Kraus, Dr. Phil, finishes third. Join Antonio, Ryan, and myself again Saturday, May 23rd for round 6 of the IndyCar iRacing Series as the teams and drivers move to the big oval. We'll take part in our biggest race of the season, the Indianapolis 500K. That's right, 500K. Coverage should begin approximately at 2 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Again, that's 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're back to our normal Saturday slot, 2 p.m. Eastern. As always, check our channel at youtube.com/racefirst or check the official iRacing schedule for the correct time in your area. We love bringing these races to you, but not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share a passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series, please take time to go visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us a part of your Saturdays, but today making us part of your Friday, kicking off your weekends right here on Race First. Thank you very much. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of today's race. Thank you for everybody that participated in chat. You always make the races that much better. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe while you're at it. Hit the bell for weekly reminders so you'll miss out on more of Race First iRacing programming, and they're just going to have wall-to-wall of it. So we will get into future programming a lot later, but check out the channel, and you'll have everything you need right there. Keep your browser set here for the most IndyCar knowledge on all of iRacing. Race First. As Little Al says, you don't know what Indy means? We know what Indy means. Race First Saturday IndyCar iRacing Series top split coverage or special Friday coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's description. Track Cams brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmet. To learn more about Track Cams, go to TrackCam22 or click on the link in the stream description. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. Here's some handles you can follow right here at the bottom of the screen. There you go. Those are all of handles for at least myself, Antonio, and the Race First channel. We got Nick Sudik up there. You can add him too. We'll get one up there for Ryan here soon. So for El Patron, Antonio Estrada, Ryan Walker, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Make sure to catch the real stars and cars of the NTT IndyCar Series this Saturday for the Indy GP. Follow all the action from the Peacock app, your local MBT affiliate, or on IndyCar Radio. Listen to my man Mark James on SiriusXM channel 215. Make sure to check out your local listings for broadcast times and availability in your area. You can catch us again May 25th at the next race of the IndyCar iRacing Series. Good night or good day.